This feature, The Future of Work, is funded by the News Reporting Scheme.
Welcome to this week's episode of The Future of Work on Clare FM. By 2030, the craft and design sectors are expected to have significantly increased their contribution to Ireland economically, socially and culturally. This is according to the Design and Crafts Council of Ireland, which has a membership of over 5,000 makers, designers, students and educators working in the sector. From traditional weaving and sustainable fashion to woodcraft and contemporary jewellery, Clare makers blend heritage with modern creativity in ways that captivate audiences not just at home, but also abroad. While many have the luxury of being able to work from a dedicated workshop or studio, much of the hard work is done by a very talented cohort in back rooms and garages in their own homes. Many crafters and designers depend on markets and fairs to promote and sell their products. In County Clare, however, creatives have access to what is basically a year-round market space which has changed the landscape for many of its members. A group of 60 creatives have access to the space while another 40 are on a waiting list to avail of the unique facility. Some have taken the leap and left full-time jobs to pursue their passion, and each one plays a significant role in driving their local economy. Aoife O'Malley is founder of Design Bank based in Miltown Malbay in County Clare.
Yeah, 2023 I found myself with a building in a great location, the old Bank of Ireland in Miltown Malbay, and took time to think about what would be the most purposeful thing I suppose to do with it. The first and second floor would have been conducive to living quarters because the bank manager, the family would have lived above the bank, which kind of the accommodation went with the job, which was part of the course. So it was fairly easy then to convert those two spaces into apartments. But the ground floor then, it just took time to think about what would work well. And I suppose just having grown up in Miltown, the Willie Clancy Festival, that real buzzy atmosphere that you get during that week, it just stays with you. And you kind of wish there was more of it throughout the year. And then I suppose I would know quite a few artists that were living locally and working in their own spaces, and just thought it would be lovely to have a space where people could come in, visit the artists, speak to them about their work, and they could showcase their work in the space. So it kind of evolved from there. I mean, that was the initial concept, and as I spoke to different people, it evolved as well, you know.
It snowballed, but you knew that there would be enough artists or creatives or crafters available to fill this space.
Initially, I just started talking to actually Aisling Walsh from Spanish Point of Terra Jewellery. She was one of the first people I approached, and she could list already 4, 5, 6 different people living within a couple of miles radius that she felt would be interested. So I knew that there would be a demand for it pretty quickly. What
was the vision though, opening up the space downstairs?
I suppose I had lost my husband, so in grief I kind of realised the importance of socialisation and having a space that was open all year round, particularly in the winter months, a space where people could come into, could just chat to people, just a distraction. And just, I suppose, I found myself drawn to kind of places with art and craft. Just, it's all very healing and it's just calming. For me, it really helped, and I just wanted to try and create something in the town that maybe could emulate that.
When you opened first, it was a pop-up shop. Was that sort of a trial? Were you testing the water doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I needed to kind of see, was it going to be commercially viable? Was it something, I suppose a lot of creatives and artists, they like working independently, and they need that focus and they need that quiet. So I wasn't sure if they would want to be in a space where people are coming in, chatting to them all the time. So with the pop-up, the idea was that people would just commit to a day a week, and therefore they still had plenty of time, on their own if they needed that. Yeah, that's kind of how it worked, and the pop-up went really well, and the rota system seemed to work well, that people weren't tied here, but they were able to come in, meet the public, display their work, and really enjoyed, I suppose, collaborating with other artists, in that creative space.
So you have a rota, creatives would have a time they'd be here in the week.
Yeah, Yeah, so basically on a Monday there are 3 artists that are in every Monday. Tuesday there's 3, Wednesday there's 3. So it's pretty much 3, sometimes 4 artists, and that's their day per week, and that's how it's been now since we opened in June. So they kind of have their fixed day per week, and then there's the flexibility. If someone can't make it, we have a group and someone takes in and someone covers. So there's a lovely kind of, it's very much running like a co-op, you know, so everyone covers for each other when they need to. We do workshops. So there's a really nice collaboration. But
were you confident, Aoife, when you started, when you had the pop-up, that this could work? This is something that could work more than just during the summer or peak periods for tourism? Yeah,
well, I suppose for me, the most important thing was, I said, it's a social enterprise, so, you know, it needs to wash its face, they say. So for me, I needed to work all year round. Like it's not just enough for me just to have it as a seasonal business. Like the whole idea is it's tough in Ireland in the winter months, like the grey skies and the rain, like it's tough going. So I really wanted to have a space in January, February, March where people could get out of the house, come in, you know, just something to look forward to, and that they could travel, you know, being open 7 days a week, that people would make the effort. They knew we were definitely open. So I kind of knew May to September would probably look after itself with the tourism that we have coming and being on the Wild Atlantic Way. So I suppose it's about trying to generate business over the winter months, and that's, I suppose, where food will come into it as well. So we have a small offering of food at the moment, and on a Saturday we have a small food market, which is lovely. We have live music, and local musicians are volunteering their time, which is really kind, and it just is creating a lovely atmosphere. And then in May, just in 2 months now, coinciding with the Joni Madden new Trad Festival that'll be on, we'll be opening a food court out the back. So again, that'll kind of work on a rota where there'll be 7 cooks doing a different menu every day. So a cook commits to 1 day a week, and it'll just have variety. Again, just really lovely, tasty, local produce at fair prices, and just, that's kind of the idea behind it, and keep our music as well midweek if we can. And
as you say, you have to wash your own face. It is a social enterprise, but you have to be able to earn to keep it open, keep the lights on, keep the heat on. Have you been able to gauge yet what contribution this social enterprise is making to the local economy?
Well, I mean, I suppose we have a couple of people that are employed on a part-time basis at the weekend, so there is that. And I kind of feel, I mean, you know, especially at the weekends and certainly during midweek, it is increasing footfall into the town. You know, I would talk to the local businesses around, and they are definitely seeing a little, you know, increase in footfall. I'm sure as the season goes on, that will manifest to be a little higher. We're working to, you know, collaborate with the tour groups, the tour companies, visitors going to the Cliffs of Moher, that they would stop off here, you know, have a really pleasant experience, you know, exploring the whole town.
Of course, the big attraction is the artists, the creatives themselves coming in here. Most or many of those, presumably, might be working from a home studio, might go occasionally to a market. Having this outlet for them, from talking to them, what does it mean, do you believe?
Well, feedback from them is, they're delighted to have a space, you know, and I think more and more restaurants and hotels and stuff are, in all fairness, offering space for artists to display their work on walls and stuff. But I suppose the advantage we have here is space, in that we have space for the artists to actually work here and display their work. So listen, it works both ways. I get a huge sense of joy out of being in this space with the artists and getting to know people better as well as time goes on. And I know that they enjoy collaborating and they appreciate that the space is here. But as I said, it works both ways.
You mentioned Aisling Walsh, who left full-time jobs to go into the creative arts and start a business. Are there many more people doing that you're aware of? Yeah,
quite a few of our artists are their own bosses, you know, so they're running their own business and they're doing workshops and it's a risk, you know, and it's but I suppose if you believe in something enough and you know that you know their talent is there and you're willing to work very hard, the opportunity is there. Others then will supplement, will work part-time and stuff, so there's a real variety. Yeah, and I suppose that's why it's so important for people to come in, especially this day and age now with AI particularly. Like, it's so difficult now online to decipher what is genuine and what's fake. So I think when people get to come in, customers get to come in and talk to the artists and see them at work and discuss their design process, they then get an understanding of how long it takes to create something beautiful. There really is a huge amount of time and effort gone into it, and they need to be paid for that. So, you know, while, you know, local art and local crafts can be, I'm not saying, and they're not expensive, but sometimes they can be deemed to be expensive against other, you know, mass-produced pieces. But I see and people see the time that goes into it, really not charging enough even for what they get or what they produce, you know.
What they produce is unique, and it may be a small bit more expensive, but the knock-on effects of somebody buying something from here in Design Bank, it does have a knock-on effect for the local economy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The money is going back into the local area.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, you can see that, and I've, as I said, spoken to other business owners, and they definitely they notice that, and there is just something very special about buying, you know, a piece of art. Like you just appreciate it so much more. It just has more value when you know someone has taken time to create that by hand, you know. So
when you have those 65 people, you have a waiting list of 40. Have you seen a trend? Have you seen that there are more artists emerging?
Yeah, I suppose in Ireland now, I think there's definitely been a shift. There's definitely more of an appreciation, you know, for art and culture, and I suppose people seeing the significance of it and how much talent there is in Ireland, even from, you know, what's happening in the movie world, you know. So I think because artists now are seeing, you know what, our work is being more valued, and, you know, there's the various artist schemes that are there. I think people have a little more confidence now, creatives, a little more confidence to say, okay, actually I could support myself as an artist now, because it is seen as something really important, and there are supports there, you know, and they really are. Like the local enterprise office now are fantastic, CLDC, so there are supports there. So I think now more than ever it's definitely becoming more of an option for artists to go out on their own. Every story is different, or personal circumstances are different, so I suppose the ideal situation is really to, if you can maybe at the beginning, if you are, say, in a full-time job or whatever it is, if you can perhaps, as it, like job share or supplement, that you're not just, you know, leaving something that's very dependable, because, you know, that might be too much of a leap initially. So I would certainly say to kind of test the market and see, can you know, have something part-time and work on your art and see how it goes. And then if you feel, yes, the market's there, then take that leap of faith, you know. But as I said, everyone is different, and they know what threshold they have to cope with and stuff, you know. So
what you're doing here, Aoife, is pretty unique. It's like a market every day of the week. Some of your members here might go to 10 markets a year. This is effectively a daily market. It's pretty unique.
Yeah, now listen, I suppose this time of year particularly, like, you know, you know, there's lots of quiet days, and there are days as well where the guys get to collaborate more and get to chat more and come up with great ideas and all that, so they're important too. But I mean, obviously certain markets you go to and you know that there's going to be a certain level of tourists and stuff there, so definitely as we're getting more established, like I do see people are starting to travel from other counties to come down to us, because, you know, they've heard of it, or they know we're open 7 days. So I suppose that kind of gives people a confidence that if you're going to make the effort to travel an hour or two, that the place will be open, you know. So I would hope as we get more and more established that, yeah, it will become like a market every day, you know. That's the hope.
Has the local support been good as well?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Yeah. I mean, our food market now on a Saturday, as I said, it's really all locals that are in, and yeah, especially around Christmas time, you could see, you know, the amount of people that said, well, you know, we held off now, and we said we'd come in and do all our Christmas shopping here, and yeah, it was fantastic. So the local support in Miltown has been wonderful, I have to say. Listen, I guess it's definitely fostering a situation where artists feel, you know, that they have the space, that their work is valued, and that people really appreciate what they're doing. But I suppose, like anything, if you believe in it strong enough, you'll keep going and you'll keep knocking on the doors till you do get an answer. So yeah, but I think it from what the artists are saying, it's definitely helping them, and you know, they're inspiring each other. You know, some people are stronger, say, online, and they're helping others then to build that profile, because you do need the social media, the internet. It's a necessary evil sometimes, you know, to market things.
The future for Design Bank, keep helping creatives, getting people in, having that long waiting list. It's great to know that the interest is there, but maybe you can't facilitate everybody. What's the future for Design Bank?
Yeah, so I suppose, continue to be open all year round. That is our hope. Develop the food market. I think having a space where people can go out, sit down, just have a little bit more time in the space. Really have that space as a kind of a multicultural space. We're just doing a pop-up now, and we've been very lucky to receive funding to win for planning for a multicultural space. So to incorporate craft, music and food all together out there as well, that the two will link together, and I suppose just to grow on that and build on that, and just have it as a welcoming social space where everyone is welcome to share their talents and enjoy it.
That was Aoife O'Malley, founder of Design Bank in Miltown Malbay in County Clare. We'll be back next week with another episode of The Future of Work.
This feature, The Future of Work, is funded by the News Reporting Scheme.